You know, life is nothing but illusions. And those illusions are up to us to decipher and discern what is the truth, yo. Ladies and gentlemen, the world stage is being set, the beast system is in play, and the optics are high. And that is the truth, yo. I'm Snafu Snaps, you guys are the SnafuKrew, the glue, each and every one of you. And remember, the optics will continue to ramp.
It was not just the titans or the massive ancient trees. Though perhaps if you look into the King of Wing in New Mexico, you'll find the axe that was used to cut down some of these trees, though a much smaller version. Geology really truly is nothing more than the study of hardened biology. These are not just a few examples of mushrooms that look like rocks. You can literally find hundreds and thousands of these all over the world, told to us that they're nothing more than just erosion. Much like the giant trees, they say, are nothing more than hexagonal columns spewing ancient volcanoes. They'll never replicate it again in recent times. In order for us to be sold on the lie of the theory of evolution, they had to dismiss our much larger past, the giants and all the inhabitants along with it. And as always, the parasites of this realm told us to dismiss the evidence of our eyes and ears. It was their final and most essential command. But once your eyes are truly open, you can see these mud fossils everywhere, and it is certainly no pareidolia. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Petrified giants. There are rocks and crystals that look oddly similar to meat. And there are strange geological formations that look like humanoid giants. Petrification occurs when organic matter is completely replaced by minerals and the fossil is turned to stone. This is not the first time we heard about people being turned to stone. There are stories of people being turned to stone in ancient Greece as well as in the Bible when Lot's wife was turned into a pillar of salt during the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Salt is a crystal, and stone can refer to a crystal, rock, or mineral, so this is another story of a person being turned to stone. Now let's cover the giants. Nearly every culture of the world has some kind of story about giants. From ancient Greece's Titans to the Bible's Nephilim giants. It is very unlikely that so many cultures created the same exact mythological beings without there being a little truth in it. We know of stories about the Great Flood and giants. Now if you're wondering if water petrifies things, yes it does. The salt and minerals in the water soaks right into things and solidifies and basically turns things into a much harder material. This slows down the decaying process considerably but not entirely in every case. This is how there can be perfectly preserved fossils such as the Borealopelta. This dinosaur is so well preserved that it looks like a statue. But what about the countless giant humanoid formations that look like statues?
Fuck up, people. Here is a map of Hawaii Maui. Looks like a giant human converted to stone and sleeping. Now look at this. Pineal gland or third eye was on fire. The heart chakra location was on fire. Also here is human main energy chakra maps. Check the location of chakras and compare with Maui Hawaii map here. Also, Maui is one of the main gateways, or Stargate on Earth. And if you watch the Mona cartoon, made by Disney, it will remind you this census.
Some men have died and some are alive, and others sail on the sea with the keys to the cage and the devil to pay. We lay to fiddler's green.
You are absolutely right about that cave. There are many beautiful mud fossils to be found there. From the Three Whales Rock to, of course, the cave of the Petrified. But it's not just in the beautiful country of Thailand you'll find the evidence of these mud fossils. And it's far from just the titans or the giant trees. The rocks were quite literally alive. And if you don't think they lied to us about petrification and the act of fossilization, just take a look at a few of these examples. Petrification happens a lot quicker than you think. Makes you really rethink those dinosaur fossils they tell us are millions of years old, eh? Unless they had engines back then. Many of the NPCs will come into the comments and scream pareidolia. And that's fine. Let them keep their heads in the clouds, imagining faces in the clouds, seeing cute little bunnies. For those of us with open eyes, you can truly see this beautiful world for what it really was. The evidence of how much larger our realm was can be found all around us. But the mind is useless if the eyes do not choose to see, or have been made intentionally blind. And that is what these parasites have done so well, blinded us to the truths hidden in plain sight all around us. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Well, SnafuKrew, prophecy's being filled at the highest rate, and we still have the optics in front of us of the past. And ladies and gentlemen, these optics are right in front of us. And if we look, those who have eyes to see and ears to hear may have an understanding that we could be living on top of a boneyard, so to speak. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the world stage is being set. The hidden past, as I like to say, is in front of us. And again, it's up to us to decide, decipher, discern. And again, if you want to help me out, hit the PayPal below. PayPal, SnafuSnaps, or SnafuSnap007 in the Cash App. But most of all, keep being you, the crew, the glue. And let's look at more of the optics with Petrified Giants and so much more.
Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a land where time stands still, where ancient giants once roamed the earth, frozen in stone for millennia. It is a realm where the impossible becomes reality. Legends and folklore speak of ancient creatures that once roamed these lands, giants and dragons. whose very existence has been immortalized in stone. Could it be that within these petrified forms lies the truth behind these tales? Are we gazing upon the remnants of beings long lost to time, their stories whispered in the wind? As we dive deeper into the realm of myth and imagination, we'll explore if these petrified titans are merely geological wonders, or are they something more silent?
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
All that we have accomplished in space, all that we may accomplish in days and years to come, we stand ready to share for the benefit of all mankind.
As we explore the reaches of space, let us go to the new worlds together. Not as new worlds to be conquered, but as a new adventure to be shared.
We uncover truths that others would rather keep hidden. And there are always secrets that await those who dare to uncover them. So, if you follow Roger Spur's channel, Mud Fossil University, you will find countless examples of petrified giant remains. I'll let you use your own discernment to determine if they are real or not. So let's go through this. The process of petrification involves the transformation of a living organism, typically plant material, of course it can be an animal as well, into stone through a series of geological processes that occur over an extended period of time. The exact conditions may vary depending on the circumstances, but the general process involves a few steps. There's the burial, which is quick. When an organism dies, it needs to be quickly buried or submerged in an environment with minimal oxygen exposure. This prevents decay and decomposition by reducing the access of the decomposers, such as bacteria and fungi. So something has to be buried quickly from the moment of death and deprived of oxygen exposure to slow down the decay process. Not only that, but you need pressure. We recently learned that a lot of water on top of something places a lot of pressure on whatever is underneath it. So you take a living organism, cover it with dirt or mud, then throw a couple of miles of water on top of it and you have a fossil. But of course that would link to the biblical flood narrative. And there are other stories of how several giants were turned into stone, for example with a weapon like a Gorgon's head or a Medusa's head, or a similar weapon of that type. Now, over time, layers of sediment such as mud, sand, volcanic ash accumulate on top of the buried organism. As the layers of sediment build up, groundwater with minerals such as silica starts to permeate through the sediment layers. The minerals carried by the water seep into the organic material, infiltrating its cells and interstitial spaces. The minerals in the groundwater gradually replace the organic matter, cell by cell, in a process known as mineral replacement or pseudomorphosis. The minerals precipitate and crystallize within the cells and porous structures of the organism, gradually turning it into a stony substance, okay? Finally, you have lithification, and over an extended period of the petrified organism. Over many years, uplift, erosion, and weathering expose the petrified remains at the surface. These forces remove the layers of sediment, gradually revealing the once living organism, now fossilized and transformed into stone. Understand that petrification is a rare occurrence. It requires specific conditions, which is why petrified remains are relatively scarce compared to other forms of fossilization. Solinus was a Roman geographer and compiler who lived around 200 AD. He is best known for his work titled The Collection of Memorable Things, Polyhistor. Geographical and historical information about various regions of the world, including Greece, Asia, Africa, and Europe. It's a compilation of diverse topics ranging from natural phenomena and remarkable events to descriptions of mythical creatures and extraordinary customs. Solinus drew on earlier sources, including the works of Pliny the Elder, to gather and present his work. He writes, "Before there were any humans on Pauline, the story goes that a battle was fought between the gods and the giants. Traces of the giants' demise continue to be seen to this day. Whenever torrents swell with rain and excessive water breaks their banks and floods the fields. They say that even now in gullies and ravines the people discover bones of immeasurable enormity, like men's carcasses but far bigger. According to Greek mythology, the giants were born from the blood of the primordial goddess Gaia when it mixed with the blood of Uranus." Stop. So, first we have sky beings mixing with earth beings. Same story in the Bible and Book of Enoch. You have the castration of Uranus by his son Kronos, and his junk was thrown into the sea. Notice the reference of Mother Earth as female and the sky deity Uranus as male, okay? And this is like the casting out of Uranus' seed. We're talking about 12 or 13 children, hybrids that spawn an entire race of monsters. The giants were portrayed as enormous and monstrous beings, often depicted with serpent-like lower bodies and multiple heads. These giants were seen as a threat to the newly established order of the Olympian gods, who ruled from Mount Olympus, which is very similar to the story of the archangels looking down at the chaos that erupted on the earth. In their rebellion against the gods, the giants sought to overthrow the Olympians and reclaim dominance over the cosmos. In response, the Olympian gods, led by Zeus, assembled an army to confront the giants. The gods fought alongside notable figures such as Hercules, Athena, Apollo, and Hermes. Each god brought their unique powers and weapons to the battlefield, clashing against the formidable giants. According to the Book of Giants, the war described spans a period of 300 years and involves the giants, also known as the Nephilim, engaging in battle against each other and against heavenly forces. These giants are portrayed as offspring of the fallen angels known as the Watchers, who descend to earth and mated with human women, as mentioned in the Book of Genesis. The war culminated in the defeat of the giants and their subsequent banishment to Tartarus. the deepest and darkest realm of the underworld, which is similar to the story of the Watchers being bound to the hills of the earth as punishment until the day of judgment. It serves as a testament to the enduring appeal and influence of Greek mythology and its depiction of epic battles between gods and monsters. There is one giant in particular that I want to talk about, which has several names. Typhon, which is a monstrous figure in Greek mythology, often described as one of the most fearsome and powerful creatures ever encountered by the gods. Typhon was said to be the offspring of Gaia and Tartarus. He was depicted as a massive and grotesque creature with multiple heads, sometimes described as having 100 fire-breathing dragon heads. His body was covered in serpents, and his lower half was composed of coiling vipers. Typhon possessed immense strength and was associated with natural disasters and cataclysmic forces. He was believed to cause violent storms, volcanic eruptions, and earthquakes, unleashing his wrath upon the world. Then there's Tiamat from Mesopotamian mythology, which was a primordial goddess of chaos and the personification of the salty sea waters, a massive dragon-like creature with multiple heads. Tiamat also waged war against the gods, but was ultimately defeated by the hero Marduk. Then you have the Jormungandr from Norse mythology, which is a Midgard serpent. Leviathan from Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions as a sea monster or dragon-like creature of immense size and power. You have Apep, or also known as Apophis, is a giant serpent from Egyptian mythology. You have the Naga from the Buddhist and Hindu mythologies. You have the Hittite mythology serpent, the Illuyanka. You have the Bakunawa from Philippine mythology, a giant sea serpent believed to be responsible for eclipses, and legends describe it as a monstrous creature with a serpent body and a large mouth. And of course, who could forget about the Hydra from Greek mythology, the multi-headed serpent-like creature that regrows 2 heads for a hero fighting against the gigantic serpent creature. These serpent-like giant creatures from various mythologies showcase the universal fascination with the mysterious and powerful nature of serpents, dragons, and sea monsters in cultures around the world. So, now how many of you have heard of White Crystal Mountain in Egypt? Now, this is actually a tourist attraction in Egypt between the Bahariya Oasis and Farafra Oasis in the desert, of course. I checked out the coordinates. Crystal Mountain, the place is a bit of an anomaly in that there are various crystal formations, different colors, scattered everywhere. Let me tell you what this is in geological terms. The hill is not a paleokarst cave with speleothemes. It is a sub-volcanic vault, which was emerged probably during the Oligocene age. The visible layers are limestones of the late Cretaceous age, as well as included a coal seam and reddish to brownish ferruginous layers above. The strata are broken or brecciated and intensely with each other folded. It is to be ascertained intense heat. The coal seam was transformed. The crystals have increased out of climbed hydrovolcanic solutions. The hot solutions were high concentrated with BaSO4, which is barite, and or CaCO3, which is calcite, which has been solved from the sediments. The solutions have penetrated into all cavities. After cooling of the solutions, the crystals could grow into cavities. It were also formed columns or domes with crystals within. So that makes sense, right? It sounds like the petrification of rock by heat, because some theorize that this could have occurred by a meteor impact as well. If you can understand what they're talking about, it's pretty interesting. But remember what I mentioned about petrification earlier. Whatever is being petrified is going to be made up of the same minerals it is buried in. Now, the more you look around this place, when you hear the word dragon, you can see it in the texture of the crystals. It reminds you of a dragon's skin texture. And then there's this. If you were to film a movie, you could play that off as an old dragon's carcass. You know something about geology? They have to leave room for error because they make a lot of them. It's just like doctors. You can get 5 different doctors to give you their own opinion about a diagnosis and get 5 different opinions. Devil's Tower is an example of this. You can go look up what the rock there is made of, and you will get several different answers. So which is which? I don't know. So, is this formation a dead dragon? Sure, why not? Well, let me correct myself. The mold of a dead dragon. Because the dragon is gone. What is left behind is just an impression, a fossil, like a footprint of something that once was. I mean, I'm not sure that the existence of dragons at one time or another is something we have to prove. I don't recall seeing anyone out there really denying the existence either, for that matter. Well, that's all for now. There is more to come. Right now, I am running a campaign for a documentary about the moon. You can check out the details about that below in the description box. If you would like to support the campaign, you can share that information, which is very powerful, or you can make a contribution to aid in seeing that documentary come to life. Please visit woodwardentertainment.com for exclusive content. You can also view Woodward TV on Rumble, and it will also be available on other multiple platforms as well. That's coming soon. You can follow me on Instagram at JAEWoodward. There is more to come very soon, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Howdy y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a deep dive into some of the ancient petrified rock formations found all around the world, and we're also going to take a look at some of the most unique mountain ranges. I've been receiving a lot of comments that are referencing me to check out the petrified nature of the old world and look at some of these petrified locations around the world. So that is what we're going to do in this video today, and I'm going to begin in the Petrified Forest in Arizona. They say this forest is named after the many petrified ancient trees that reside on this land, and these trees basically will not decompose, and instead they form these really amazing crystalline structures, and they have these patterns and these colors that are so unique. And they say that this land is named strictly for these petrified remains of the trees, but there are also many rock formations on this area that simply do not make a lot of sense and are also very unique and seem to have characteristics that we could lend to old world construction, but they say these are actually naturally occurring. And mainly what I want to talk about, at least in this petrified forest in Arizona, is that this petrified forest is said to have had its own sphinx. So according to the narrative, they discovered this Sphinx when they were surveying this land for the first time. And from the research that I did, I could find that there was only 3 known photographs of this Sphinx that were ever taken, and none of them are very clear. So if you could find any more, please drop them in the comments down below, because I would be very interested to look at those. Now, you can definitely see that there was a massive sort of rock formation on this mountain or on this mound. And it's really interesting because they say that this formation was not man-made, but you can see some sort of definition to it that indicates that maybe it had a different history than what we were given. However, we'll never really know, because before this park was opened up to the public and before they let this petrified forest be a national monument, they tore down the Sphinx, or it naturally fell. They don't have it written what really happened to it, but when the park was opened, this Sphinx and the definition of this mound were no longer there. And I think it's interesting to note that in the narrative they say this was naturally occurring, and a lot of these structures in this area were naturally occurring, and they were petrified and they were ancient, whether they were rock or they were just, trees and things that were really petrified. They say that these were from a long time ago. So these stood the way they were in this petrified state for many years, according to the narrative. And yet, within the few years that man came in contact with them and brought photography around, many of these structures disappeared, or they no longer stood in the way that they did when they were initially petrified or they were initially formed. So I find that to be very interesting, that they say that we didn't go in and mess around with this land, we preserved it. But at the same time, many of these structures have changed, and they say that was naturally occurring. So just interesting that for millennia before us, they stood petrified and didn't move. And then after we came in contact with them, they naturally changed. And I think that's the other interesting thing about the desert, is that we have all these mysterious and dirty deeds sort of associated with the desert. You have Sin City in Las Vegas is a desert, and Death Valley. And in movies and cinema and books, literature, you always have the desert area depicted as esoteric and mysterious, and it's always written that there are hidden treasures in the desert. And I think that's a concept that's worth uncovering and unpacking, because a lot of the old world cities and structures that we find, many of them are buried in different sort of sand and mud and other things that could be considered deserted and barren. Now we're getting to my favorite part of the video, and this is a new concept that I've heard people discussing down in the comments, so I thought I would give it a shot myself. And this is the idea of taking these old world constructions, these different monuments and these different rock formations and different landscape shots, mountain ranges, things like that, and basically looking at them at a different angle, taking these photographs and turning them on their side, or putting them vertical, or flipping them upside down, and seeing if anything about the image is striking or stands out to you. And I already did this with a lot of these images, and there's a lot of things that stood out to me. Now, it seems like a novel concept, but look right here at this landscape shot turned on its side, and look at the image that really pops out in this mountain range. That's what we're going to be looking for today. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I see. It's more like a cloud. Basically, look at it and you can figure out what you see yourself, and I'd love to hear about that down in the comments below. But let's get right into it. We're just going to take some of these unique mountain ranges and things that really stood out to me, and hopefully they stand out to you as well. So what do you think about these mountain ranges? Do you see any sort of imagery hidden within these rocks and these different formations? And also let me know what you think about Arizona and the petrified tree stumps and the petrified rocks and the different formations around there. Do you think this is all naturally occurring, these formations and these rock faces? Or do you think this is a sort of hidden history that we haven't really scratched the surface of quite yet? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. This is more of a discussion video. So really, it's all about us breaking it down in the comment section and talking amongst ourselves and seeing what we think about these images. And I really enjoy talking about these things with you and hearing what you have to say. So I look forward to that. And we're at like 6.5K subscribers. So this family of ours is growing. So from me to you, I really appreciate you being here, and I will talk to you on the next video.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm SnafuSnaps. You guys are SnafuKrew. If you guys want to help me out again, hit the PayPal below, SnafuSnaps, or Cash App SnafuSnap007. But most of all, keep being you, the crew, the glue, and keep putting out the truth, yo. And remember, the optics are high and will ramp up. Much love, and until the next time. It's lit. Yeah.